Another year, another Halloween at Wyrmwood. Year-round, we make gaming furniture and tabletop accessories like dice vaults and DM screens, but when spooky season rolls around, it's our excuse to do something unique. But nothing has ever been more popular than our Coffin Vault, a coffin-shaped dice vault that has become a fan favorite every fall. And this Halloween, we're doing something we've never done before, combining resin and wood into a single vault. The first stop is the horizontal bandsaw. This machine is great at giving us a consistent thickness across big boards like these, kind of like filleting the wood into slices. This particular rosewood was purchased years ago. It turned out to be unusable, and it's been sitting in Ian's backyard ever since. And hanging on to it for that long turned out to be the right call because this was the perfect lumber for this project. We've got our craftsmen Jay and Bennett leading this project, and honestly, there's not a better duo. Jay might be the most creative craftsman on the floor, always making something unique and trying something new.
It really does look like a canyon.
Right now, Jay is matching and marking up the wood pieces along their breakpoints. That way, when we pour the resin later, the seams will look organic. Once everything's matched, it's time to head over to the jump saw to cut them to rough length. This is a cool machine. A hydraulic arm holds the board in place as a foot pedal activates the blade from coming up and then hides back down. And as you can see on these last couple of boards, most of them are already in two parts, but some of them are fractured and cracked, but they're still one piece. So Jay needs to give them some help separating along those break lines. So he uses a mallet and a wedge to crack them in half at exactly the right place so they break naturally. After that, Jay uses a vertical bandsaw to trim them to rough width. Since these pieces don't have a flat edge yet, a bandsaw works better than a table saw or something with a fence. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of dust and loose pieces in this cracked wood, so Jay needs to get in there and clean it up real well, or else all those pieces will be floating in our resin pour later. Meanwhile, Bennett is over here building jigs, custom molds to hold the pieces in place for the resin pour. Now, almost all things Halloween at Wyrmwood can be traced back to Bennett. He designed our corrupted logo almost 10 years ago and actually created the original Coffin Vault as a personal project. We loved it so much, Wyrmwood literally bought the design from him, and it's been a fall staple ever since. And this right here is where the fun begins. Bennett starts mixing the resin. It's a two-part system. The first 2/3 of the cup is the resin, and the final third is the hardener. Once they're combined, a chemical reaction begins. You've got maybe 20 to 40 minutes of working time before it starts to thicken. So once it's mixed, you get right to pouring. Each batch gets its own color of mica powder. Mica is a natural material with a shimmery metallic sheen. In its raw form, it's silver or bronze, but it's coated with pigments to create the vivid colors. What's really cool about these is even if we use the same wood and the same color, every single Coffin Vault ends up completely unique. No two will ever look exactly alike. So for everyone who picks one up, it's truly a one-of-one piece.
That green is so beautiful.
It's a good green.
Honestly, this next shot is my favorite. There's something so cool about the striations between the resin and the hardener. I was actually talking to Bennett about it, and he told me that those little striations are actually called ribbons. And the point of mixing this together is to mix until the ribbons are gone, which honestly, I found sad. Fast forward to the next day and the resin is cured. We pop the pieces out of their mold, and these scraps of wood and resin have become solid blanks, ready to be shaped into our Coffin Vaults. They look rough at first, but a quick pass through the planer cleans them right up, revealing a crisp line between the wood and the resin. We use double stick tape underneath to keep everything secure. These blanks are small, so we don't need our big industrial CNCs for this. This CNC belongs to our custom shop team, which specializes in unique one-off projects. And we're working on things like this all the time. So if you ever had a personal or custom project you'd like to bring to life, there's a link to get in touch with us below. The CNC cuts the exterior of the coffin shape, the interior cavity, and even the magnet holes. And now they're finally starting to look like the actual product. Now, after cutting on the CNC, Bennett found some imperfections, some voids and gaps that didn't get filled with resin. So he's creatively using black CA glue, which matches the dark streaks of the Bolivian rosewood perfectly. For the larger gaps, he uses a brown wood filler putty, which looks completely natural. The CNC can't actually drill the tiny pilot holes for the magnets to be installed, so Bennett does those by hand, carefully, to avoid putting too much pressure where the screw meets the resin. For these and really any other vault that has magnetic closure, we always wait to sand and clean the edges after installing the magnets. That way, when we bring them to the belt sander, we can sand them while they're closed, and it makes the edges perfectly flush. And of course, we finish them off with a chamfer, that small 45-degree bevel, and it's kind of a Wyrmwood staple at this point. It sharpens the look while somehow softening the feel of the product in your hand. Finally, every vault gets a hand sanding, breaking the sharp edges, smoothing the surfaces. No woodworking project is complete without that final touch. And after getting sealed, they are finished, ready to rise from the workshop yet again.